When you saw the queues, you saw the people on the ground feeding, doing their thing. If those people weren't there, I think our state security would have been really in jeopardy. My name is Cathy and I work for the Domino Foundation. I am a mum of 3 and I run the nutrition and the disaster response programs here at the Domino Foundation in Durban. The Domino Foundation was birthed out of a church, out of Cog's Church, which is now called Anthem Church. It's a ministry of the church, and it was started in 2004 by a bunch of people, 3 people actually, that insisted and they were compelled to do something more than just go to church every Sunday. It started with 3 programs actually. It started with the babies' home, so they took in 3 babies, abandoned babies, and they started a transitional home. Not an orphanage, just a transitional home to get babies into homes. They started a nutrition program, making sandwiches and getting those out into a specific community. And they started a life skills program, which was teaching children basic principles of life and instilling self-worth into them and teaching them that they are unique and special and irreplaceable. On a normal day before lockdown, we are an NGO or an NPO with 8 programs. With big plans, very excited for 2021. We have 8 programs from cradle to grave, and so we start with a baby's home, a transitional home. The nutrition program meets these children, and then we have the ECD program, which is early childhood development, which are teams that develop daycare centres into active learning centres. And nutrition feeds into that as well. And then we have a life skills program where when the kids get older, they meet the literacy program in that time as well. They then come through school and they hopefully meet the bursary program as well, which helps and mentors kids through varsity or tech or whatever that is. We also have an anti-human trafficking program, which restores and releases people that have been sex trafficked or worked in the industry, and then we have the disaster response program. So on a normal day, those 8 programs are functioning in different communities right across the eThekwini region. We knew that if we got locked down, we saw China getting locked down, we knew that if we locked down, we knew that we needed to run at nutrition. For us, there were other incredible people that were having great conversations, but for us in KZN, in Durban, we knew that nutrition was going to be a scary thing. And so we started to focus on that, and we started to pick up the phone and call people and started to just potentially lay foundations in place should all hell break loose. We found ourselves at the City Hall in the Deputy Mayor's office as part of a task team that was coming up with a plan of what was going to happen with the homeless, how was that going to look, where were they going to go, were they going to be put in a hall, in a building, in a tent. So we were lucky enough to get called into that, and we knew that we needed to fight for permits. I think 3, 4 of us, 5 of us had permits, and so we set up a jock. We said, right, we've got to go. We had huge maps up on the wall. We had the areas plotted. We started to make routes and maps on where food was going. The most vulnerable people, the most difficult people, the most difficult areas, and we just pulled in our team. We pulled in our KZN response team, and from a little computer in here in this deserted office, we just started to make it happen. Getting all of those volunteers on site and turning this place into a pack house to get buckets out. I think we sent out over 20,000 buckets and vegetables and general food and hygiene and food relief. So 20,000 across the KZN area. We have this incredible drive-through setup. So we would have the maize trucks arriving and delivering 1,000 tons of maize at a time. in the big bags. We would have super links. We had to close off all the parking. Checkers are next door to us. They closed off the parking for us, and the super links came alongside the property, or they were managed to reverse, and we had volunteers. I think they were just happy to get out of the house during lockdown, offloading super links of butternuts and all the tinned, all the non-perishables. It was quite incredible. And then downstairs we've got a huge covered area which was butternuts and onions and potatoes and tin foods. We had forklifts driving food off the links onto the property.
Twala Nkosi.
So why did we even attempt to do it? I don't think we even thought about that for a second. Because we already work in so many communities around Durban, we understand how precarious many of those homes are, and we understand how important it is to have children in school, because most kids are getting a meal at school. So in our ECD centres they're getting 2 meals a day, and the older children in secondary and high schools are getting 1 meal a day if they're on the government nutrition program. Where those kids going to get food from? So for us, we didn't stop and think about it, we just did it.
We are here in Amaoti on distribution day. It is around 7 a.m. in the morning, and our teams, like I said earlier, have been working all through the night. So around 8 o'clock last night we started distributing. We did discreet, secret little sneaky drops of food hampers, vegetables and maize as part of the Solidarity Fund food hampers, as well as in partnership with Food Forward South Africa. The team and the staff at all of our schools have been really, really incredible, some even offering to sleep overnight to ensure security of the hampers. The reason why we did night deliveries was for protection, for discreetness, and for kind of doing it undercover so that there's not to expose the schools to more vulnerabilities.
I don't know if you remember that during that time food security was tricky, and there were trucks getting robbed, there were people getting robbed, the security was off the charts. I mean, you saw the queues, you saw the people on the ground feeding, doing their thing. If those people weren't there, I think our state security would have been really in jeopardy. I think it would have been, I don't even want to think about that. After lockdown, and after there's some sense of traction starting to happen again, our biggest job is to get kids back into school. But through this time, through this awful, terrible time, partnerships. So collaborations, partnerships are off the charts. The church leaders, the community leaders, to seeing community leaders and churches working together, to seeing just the authority of our team, the authority that they walk in now because of what they've learned over this time, to see corporates stepping into the ring. So during lockdown we had this many people that wanted to come on board, and it was still a huge amount. And now it's almost like there's been a baton handover. So they hand over the baton and the ring gets bigger, and other corporates see what's been going on, or other individuals, or whatever that may be. They see, oh wow, we can also get involved. How can we get involved? How can we do better in our communities? And then the baton gets handed over again and the ring gets bigger. We always say yes, and see what happens. Don't discount yourself by going, oh, I'm not sure, can I add value? Just get involved, just say yes to the smallest little thing and see where it takes you, because you will surprise yourself. You will be surprised at what you have in your hand. Just always say yes.